plant. These 15 vegetables in January that survive winter cold when most crops completely fail. January might feel like the quietest month for gardening, but it's actually a golden opportunity to get ahead of the season and sow cold-tolerant crops that many gardeners overlook. While most plants struggle in harsh temperatures, by learning what to plant now and how to protect tender sprouts, you'll enjoy fresh, homegrown vegetables long before spring arrives, turning winter into a productive part of your gardening year. One, kale, a winter warrior you can plant in January. Kale is one of the hardiest leafy greens you can plant in January because it naturally thrives in cold weather and even becomes sweeter after frost hits your garden. Whether you sow seeds under a cold frame or start them indoors and transplant later, kale seedlings will keep growing even when temperatures dip below freezing. Gardeners love kale because it's resilient against cold snaps that wipe out most crops, making it a staple for winter vegetable gardens. To give your kale the best start, prepare a loose, nutrient-rich soil and make sure the seedlings get plenty of sunlight even during short winter days. If the ground is frozen, planting indoors or under a protective cover like a cold frame lets you get ahead of spring. By planning your January planting right, you'll have robust kale plants ready to harvest for soups, salads, and smoothies before many other vegetables have even sprouted. 2. Spinach, cool season favorite that handles frost. Spinach is a classic cool season crop that loves winter planting and can tolerate light frosts with ease, making January an ideal time to sow seeds in many climates. This leafy green grows well in soil that stays cool but not frozen, and frost exposure can enhance the flavor and texture of the leaves. With regular watering and perhaps a mulch layer to protect the roots, spinach keeps producing fresh leaves even when other plants struggle. One of the best parts about planting spinach in January is that it's a quick grower. You can start harvesting baby leaves in just a few weeks. If you live in a colder region where the soil is solidly frozen, start spinach indoors under lights and transplant as soon as it softens. Having spinach coming out of your winter garden means fresh greens long before spring lettuce and other tender crops are ready. Three, peas, early protein powerhouses for cold zones. Peas are excellent vegetables to plant in January because many varieties germinate and grow in cool soil temperatures that would stop other seeds. In mild winter areas, you can directly sow pea seeds into garden beds early in the month, letting them slowly sprout as the soil gently warms. If your region has harder freezes, starting peas indoors and transplanting later gives you a head start on a productive spring harvest. Once peas are established, their vining habit gives you upright plants that yield tasty pods packed with nutrients. Make sure to provide a simple trellis or support so they can climb as they grow taller, and choose early maturing varieties for best results. Planting peas now brings you fresh pods earlier than waiting until spring, especially in climates where frost isn't severe. Four, leeks, cold-tolerant onions for winter and spring. Leeks are related to onions and are prized for their mild, sweet flavor and remarkable cold tolerance, making them great candidates for January planting. These long-season vegetables need early sowing so their long stalks have time to develop before warmer weather arrives. Starting leeks under cover indoors or in a protected cold frame, Gives them a strong foundation to withstand freezing temperatures and a reliable harvest later. Leeks don't mind winter chill. In fact, their flavor often improves after exposure to cold. To help them thrive, choose well-drained soil and keep them consistently moist so they don't dry out in winter winds. Because they take longer to reach maturity than many greens, planting them in January ensures your leek harvest is plentiful when spring arrives. Five, carrots, sweet roots that love cold soil. Carrots can be planted in January in areas where the soil is workable, especially in milder climates, because cool temperatures help them develop sweeter, crunchier roots. Many varieties resist frost and grow slowly throughout winter, so they're ready for harvesting as fresh carrots in late winter or early spring. If the ground is too hard, you can plant carrots in raised beds or containers under cover to protect young seedlings. One of the joys of winter carrot planting is that cold actually improves flavor. The plant converts starches to sugars as protection against chill. Make sure soil is loose and free of big clumps so the roots can grow straight and smooth. With proper spacing and mulching, carrots planted in January reward you with vibrant orange harvests when many other crops are still dormant. Six, beets, cold-tolerant roots with multiple uses. Beets are surprisingly tough vegetables that can be planted in January if the soil isn't frozen solid or if you start them in containers under cover. Much like carrots, beets benefit from chill, which helps their natural sugars develop for a sweeter, richer taste. You can grow both the roots and the leafy tops, making beets a dual-purpose crop for winter gardens. For best results, choose smaller beet varieties that mature more quickly and improve survival in cold weather. Loose soil and consistent watering help seedlings get established, and protective mulch keeps the soil from freezing too deeply. Home gardeners often enjoy beet greens and salads while waiting for the mature roots to be ready later in the season. Seven, cabbage, hardy brassica that brings winter flavor. Cabbage is part of the hardy brassica family that stands up well to cold weather and thrives when planted early like in January, especially if you're preparing transplants for spring. This leafy, dense vegetable tolerates frost better than many other crops, and in some regions it can grow slowly through chilly months. Hardy varieties like January King cabbage are specifically known for surviving winter cold and for their sweeter, complex flavor after frost. Starting cabbage seeds indoors lets you control temperature and light, giving young plants a healthy head start before moving them outdoors. Even if you can't sow directly outside because of frozen soil, indoor sowing means you'll transplant vigorous seedlings later without lost time. When spring arrives, your early cabbage plants will be ready to fill your garden with rich, leafy heads that most summer crops could never produce so early. Eight, broccoli, early brassica starter for cool climates. Broccoli is a cool weather brassica you can begin from seed in January, so it's sturdy and ready when spring arrives. Many gardeners start broccoli indoors now because it takes time to grow before warmer soil is suitable outdoors, especially in regions where winter lingers. When seedlings are strong enough, transplant them into the garden so they can continue thriving as temperatures slowly warm. Starting broccoli early gives you a head start for fresh spring harvests, and this hardy vegetable is well suited to chillier weather as long as it's protected from deep freezes. With rich soil and ample light, young broccoli plants develop into full heads that bring bright green goodness to your table. Planning ahead now means enjoying harvest before many warm season crops are even planted. 9. Cauliflower. Cool season brassica worth starting now. Cauliflower is another brassica that thrives in cool weather and benefits from early January sowing under cover. Because cauliflower heads need steady cool growth, starting seeds indoors gives them extra time to mature before outdoor conditions are ideal. Once they're robust young plants, gardeners can transplant cauliflower into beds or raised rows to continue growing as the days get longer. Successful cauliflower requires consistent moisture and good light, so giving seedlings a head start inside helps them push through early cold spells. This planning makes April and May harvests far more likely, with tender curds that are perfect for roasting, mashing, or adding to stews. With a little winter effort, you'll enjoy one of the most satisfying winter-sown brassicas on your plate. (10) Bok choy. Tender Asian greens for winter growing. Bok choy and other Asian greens are ideal for January planting, especially when started indoors or under protection in cooler climates. These leafy vegetables grow quickly and prefer cool soil temperatures, which keeps them from bolting too early. Many gardeners sow bok choy now to get fresh, crisp greens just as winter begins to fade. Because bok choy matures faster than many larger brassicas, you can enjoy baby greens in salads and stir-fries even while snow still melts in your garden. Plant them in loose soil with consistent moisture and plenty of light for best growth. With smart timing, you'll harvest tender leaves before other crops are ready to emerge. 11. Mustard greens, spicy, fast-growing winter greens. Mustard greens are another cool season leafy vegetable that gardeners can seed in January to get a jump on spring flavor. This hardy green thrives in cool soil and doesn't require long days or warm weather, making it perfect for winter sowing under cover. The spicy, peppery leaves add bold flavor to salads, sautés, and soups. Because mustard greens grow quickly, you can enjoy multiple cuttings of fresh leaves as temperatures rise in February and March. They're especially rewarding in colder regions when other crops are slow to get going. With minimal fuss and quick results, mustard greens are excellent choices for early winter gardens. 12. Radishes, quick turnaround roots for early harvests. Radishes are one of the fastest vegetables to grow, which makes them perfect for planting in January if soil is workable or under cover in containers. These spicy roots germinate quickly, letting you harvest crisp, colorful radishes in as little as a few weeks under the right conditions. Cold-tolerant varieties can handle chillier weather better than many other root crops. Radishes also make great companions in winter gardens because they mature before larger plants need space. When planted in rows or containers with loose soil and regular water, you'll enjoy a quick boost of garden-fresh crunch on salads and sandwiches. Start radishes now to add vibrant color to your late winter harvests. 30. Lettuce, hardy leafy greens for winter salads. Certain lettuce varieties like winter lettuce, arugula, and mizuna handle cold better than you might expect, so sowing them in January can pay off with fresh greens in late winter. These greens often germinate in soil temperatures as low as the upper 30s to low 40s, making them suitable for protected outdoor sowing or indoor starts. With regular watering and gentle light, lettuce seedlings grow tender leaves even on cooler days. Harvesting lettuce in winter gives you crisp salad greens long before traditional spring gardens begin. Slight frost can even sweeten some lettuce varieties, enhancing flavor and texture. Whether you're layering mulch or using cold frames, lettuce is a wonderful way to fill out your winter vegetable lineup. (14) Onions and scallions. Early bulb starts for spring meals. Onions and scallions, green onions, are versatile alliums that can be planted in January in many climates, either directly outdoors or started inside for transplanting later. Green onions grow especially well from seed now because they require less time to reach harvest than full bulb onions. Their tender stems add fresh flavor to winter soups, stews, and salads. Starting onions and scallions early also ensures they develop strong roots before warmer weather arrives. You'll be rewarded with bright green shoots that keep producing as spring arrives. With a bit of early planning, these simple alliums will become a staple in your kitchen garden. (15) Garlic, cold season favorite for flavorful harvests. Garlic is traditionally planted in late fall or early winter, but in many regions January is still a good time to put cloves in the ground if you missed fall planting. Hardy garlic varieties benefit from winter chilling, which helps them develop strong bulbs by summer. Once planted, garlic stays dormant through the cold months and starts growing vigorously in spring. Because garlic takes many months to mature, starting it in January gives it plenty of time to develop large, flavorful bulbs. With well-drained soil and good sunlight, your garlic patch will be ready for harvest when summer arrives. Winter garlic is one of the most rewarding crops for gardeners who plan ahead. Conclusion: growing vegetables in January doesn't have to be a waiting game. With the right choices and a bit of planning, you can be harvesting fresh greens, crunchy roots, and flavorful brassicas even when the rest of the garden sleeps. From sweet spinach and hardy kale to early peas and cold-kissed carrots, these 15 vegetables prove that winter can be one of the most rewarding times to garden. So grab your seeds, prepare your soil or indoor trays, and let this month be the start of a season full of healthy, vibrant harvests and garden success.